Hey everybody, welcome back. Still in week 2, now moving on to module number 4, and let me take you through a quick video called Igniting Social Media, and I'm going to talk to you guys about what we're about to do. So we're going to look at building your audiences, starting to create content, how we use keywords for things like your Facebook Lives, your announcements, your strategy call posts. We're going to move through all the major social media content that you're going to be able to create, and I'm going to make it so simple that you'll never have to think about what content to create. And I'm going to show you the exact move that I use where I can take one piece of content and turn it into almost 10 pieces of content in the matter of just minutes. So guys, I'm going to show you how to do this. Essentially unlimited content without having to think of what to do ever again. So let's get into this, guys. Igniting social media. Let's go. All right, so here's what we're going to cover, guys. This is just a quick overview video of what we're about to do. I don't want to spend too much time on this explaining everything. I'd just rather show you guys what to do. But let me give you a reference point of where we're headed. Under this video, you are going to see a whole bunch of action items. Now, remember back in week 1, when I said that Kajabi will only show so many action items per page. So make sure when you get to the bottom of these action items, if it seems like there's some missing, make sure you click on the View All button. And then on the right-hand side, right down the bottom, you're going to see a tiny little arrow. Make sure you keep clicking across until you can access all these action items, okay? So here's what we'll cover. Let's firstly look at the overview of the social media strategies. This is how we're going to get clients. As you guys know, we already have worked on the sales portion. We've done the script, future value deck. You've set up your proposal. We are ready to start creating content and booking in strategy calls. Then we're going to look at something called the wall of defense. And I want to show you how being anti-fragile is going to be your very best friend if you want to dominate social media. Then, like I said below, I'll give you guys a list of all the action items, videos for each strategy. I'm just going to show you what to do instead of explaining it all. By now, you should really understand that it's just a system, and consistency right now is going to be our best friend. So let's get going. So let's look at something very important, your wall of defense, before we get into actually creating content. So wall of defense. Remember anti-fragile? This is when it really counts. Social media is full of negative people that will go out of their way to shame you. If you try and help some people, those people will love you, while others will shame you. So what? Get over it quickly. So this is my roundabout way of saying, when you start using social media, some people are going to love you and some people are going to hate you. Those people that love you may not voice it, but you better believe the people that hate you, by way of your content, maybe it causes some pain or you give them a real reality check, they are going to call you out. They're going to say you're full of shit. They're going to say, you know, you're not right for saying that. So what? We have to do this. You can't expect to be in business and have everybody love you, because if you do, you're being fragile. You're being naive to what social media really does. And guys, I get this every single day. Now I get it. It's a little bit tough at the start. It'll hit your ego a little bit. It'll get close to your heart because you care about these people. So what? Okay, it's part of business. You're going to experience this for the rest of your career. If you don't figure out a way to get over it or just ignore it, you'll just eventually get used to it anyway. But if you don't ignore it, it's going to pull you into a very dark hole and it's going to be very hard to get out of. Okay, so if someone gives you something negative, okay, and they're not telling the truth, that's just them being an asshole. So what? Get over it. Okay, so your content will cause pain and offer outside thinking. That's the whole point of it. We have to polarize your audience. If you cannot deal with negative and positive feedback, you are doomed. So you're going to get both, okay? Light and dark, negative, positive, okay? It's going to be there. So if you expect to stay high-fiving and fluffy, that's what I call it, like high-fiving and fluffy content, like the world is awesome, to get over your, create the best life, you've just got to breathe, everything's fine, just imagine you've got your business already, just imagine that you're helping your clients, that sort of shit doesn't fly. Okay, so if you expect to stay high-fiving and fluffy and expect everybody to love you, social media is not the place for you. So to counteract this, we are going to build a wall of defense by way of content, testimonials, reviews, showing your expertise, talking about symptoms, creating content consistently. So now this can let your content fight the war for you. Don't join in on arguments. If someone posts something negative below one of your pieces of content, don't join in. Do not start an argument with these people, because now it looks like you're on the back foot and you're trying to justify something. So if someone says something negative, block them and delete their post. Simple and quick. Okay. Now, the reason you want to let your content fight your war for you is like this. Let's say you have, you create a piece of content or you work with a client and they post a negative review. And they put it all over Facebook. Now that's extreme. Hardly anyone's going to do that, but some people go out of their way to do that. And let's say, for example, you've got no content or other positive testimonials to back that up, it's going to instantly shame your business. So you want to make sure with your content, you're using your content to build a wall of expertise and defense. So if someone says something negative about me, I know that I've got 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 pieces of content to counteract just one negative comment. I've got thousands of testimonials to counteract one negative comment. Now, the funny thing is, even as a therapist, I'd have every now and then someone say something bad, but I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other positive reviews and testimonials saying otherwise. So let your content build a wall of defense. Selfies, opinions, arguments, like I'm awesome type journey posts and stuff, that's not going to build any defense. Because people, when they see a negative comment and maybe they did want to work with you, will now go researching and find out, okay, is this a negative comment? Is this how it really is? Or is this someone just being a bit of an asshole? If you don't have content and people can't find you on social media, that you've got no social context, you've got no proof of any claims that you have, it's going to be very, very hard to fight that war. Okay. So to counteract this, we build a wall of defense. Don't join in on arguments. If someone says something negative, block them and delete their post. Simple and quick. Just get over as quickly as possible. Please do not go to the group and create like a long-winded post about how it happened, how you feel. I get it. It's frustrating. It's annoying. It's going to be painful. But if you write a post in the group, it means you're putting attention on it. It's just going to get worse and worse. Okay. Just delete it and get over it. Move on with your day. Trust me, it'll be the best thing you do in your business and creating, you're teaching yourself to get over these things. So like I said, selfies, opinions, arguments, I'm awesome, my journey type posts will never build a wall of defense. If you get a negative review and you have no defense for this, which is a positive review or some real deep content of the way you think and the way you are, it'll be very, very hard to be an expert. People just won't believe you, okay? So as an aggregate to doing all this content, we're also building a wall of defense. So could you imagine someone who just posts once a month, or even heard people telling other people, just post content when you feel energetically ready for it? Ridiculous. You want to start doing this stuff immediately, start building that wall of defense and the positive things that your clients are going to start saying about you. Okay. So that's what we're going to do as an aggregate. We're going to do this anyway. All right, let's look at keywords. I want to show you why this thing is so important. Remember that list we did all the way back in week 1 to find your niche? This keyword and the consistent hunting of keywords, which are symptoms, is going to be the things that are going to make you money. If you want to make more money, find and use more keywords. Every piece of content that I create is based on keywords. Turn your brain off. If you're ever looking at your laptop thinking, I wonder what I'm going to create today. I wonder what my Facebook Live should be about. I wonder what my webinar should be like. I wonder what my, online program should be about. Wherever you guys are, whatever you're doing, you never want to be thinking. Anytime you say the words, I wonder, you've already lost. Use your keywords. Those keywords are better than money. Those keywords turn into money later. So number 1, your symptom hunting exercise, collecting keywords, will become the basis of every post, video title, outreach message, and even what you say on the strategy calls. Be forever hunting new keywords. If it is not a keyword, don't use it and don't say it. Again, it's like therapists and coaches making up content on the fly. Like, again, I'll use that example of like a therapist who wants to build their business, but they're creating content about how to use language patterns. How on earth would the general public understand that? Why on earth would the general public care about language patterns? They just want to quit smoking. See my point? So as we move into week 4, so week 3 is YouTube, the whole YouTube strategy and passive income. Week 4 will be about virtual assistants. In week 4, I'll train your VA to hunt for you and continually update this list. And they'll do a lot of this work for you. Okay, but I still want you to master it so you can further train them if need be. Basically, it's this simple, guys. Want to make more money, use more keywords and symptoms. Okay, so here's just a real example. This is a YouTube video that I created. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this in week 3. Now, where did I come up for the title for this? Well, there's 2 ways you'll learn on YouTube. We can go looking for actual YouTube titles that have sort of gone viral, or I can use keywords to create videos. So what I did, as you guys will learn very soon, I went into the Facebook group, and remember how I typed in the search bar looking for people that ask a question around a symptom? I just typed in how into the keyword search inside a coaching group, and someone had an announcement that popped up within about 3 seconds that says, how do I find people that need my coaching? So I looked at that, and I'm going to show you how to do this. I looked at that and thought, how can I turn that into a question? And that's what I did. So I turned it into a question. How do you find people who need your coaching? find coaching clients. Now that's just optimizing for YouTube and the proper keywords. Again, I'll show you this, but I want to show you where I got this title from. Okay. I made a video about it. I just put together a quick, I think 15-minute video just explaining how to use social media properly. Didn't go too far in depth, but enough to show my knowledge on social media. And this is what happened. So far as passive income on YouTube, as you guys will learn with YouTube running ads on your videos once your channel is monetized, it's making me about $45 per day. Now, if this continues, it means that every day I'm going to make $45 just for one video. And I have about 500 videos. See my point? But again, I didn't come up with this title. I went looking in the group. This video already, within the first couple of days, has already booked me 4 calls. How do I know this video booked me 4 calls? People told me on the strategy call. I watched that video. It made total sense. In the first 2 days, it took me about 30 minutes total to create. Okay. Now, this is a YouTube video. I'm going to show you how to repurpose this. So this will go on my Instagram. It'll go on my LinkedIn. It'll go on my Facebook. It'll go to my email list. It'll go everywhere. And it's already making me money. I don't have to do anything. 30 minutes. I know some people that will sit for longer than 30 minutes wondering what to say on their Facebook Live. I've done the whole exercise and I now can repurpose it. So I just want to show you that I'm using the exact strategies you guys are using. I never think. I just go looking for keywords and symptoms. And my VA just fills up my list. I look at the list every day and go, that's a good one. I'll use that. 2-second decision, done, gun to your head, get it done quickly. And again, I'll show you how to do all this. All right, so now let's look at igniting social media without ever spending money on ads, funnels, anything like that. Giving away free challenges. We do none of that stuff. This is all going to be organic. All right, so I'm going to show you how to build your audiences on all your social media platforms. Okay, there'll be action items for this, but I just want to run you through the overview here because sometimes this gets a little bit confusing. So I'll give you an overview here, give you a reference point, and then there'll be action items where I'll go and do each one of these exercises for you, and I'll show you exactly what buttons to push and where to go. So this is what I call stealing audiences on social media. All right, so what we're basically doing is as we create content, it's very simple. We create the content, but we need the right people to see that content. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. People wonder why when they use Facebook or Instagram that no one sees their content. It's because their friends list or their audience or their leads, whatever you want to call it, is full of people that don't need their services. On Facebook, as you find out, we have 5,000 people on our personal page, not a business page, not a brand page. Again, if you go ahead and use a business or a brand page, don't message me when it's not working because I'm not going to answer you. Has to be on a personal page. Sorry, it's blunt, but that's just how it is. All right. So what I'm going to do on my personal Facebook page is I have 5,000 people that I can fill up. Now, it's not full of my friends and family. It's 5,000 coaches and therapists because that's my niche. For you guys, it could be 5,000 people who suffer from PTSD, 5,000 mothers who want to lose weight. See my point? So when I create content, Facebook will alert to a certain extent those 5,000 people. Very simple. Okay, that's the mechanism of it. So we are going to go into Facebook groups like we've already done a couple of times already. Now, as we go ahead and do this, we're going to just go into these Facebook groups to steal audiences from those Facebook groups because those Facebook groups are full of people who are not getting the right advice. It's like they're going to a Facebook group, like say an anxiety Facebook group, asking for help with their anxiety, but other people with anxiety are giving their opinions. That's not going to help at all. Okay, we're going to pull them out of the group. Now, you might be thinking, well, Scott, hang on. If I go to an anxiety group, shouldn't I post content in the group? Shouldn't I ask questions in the group? No, 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 no. Please remember this, guys. Do not post in groups. Do not ask questions. Do not answer people's questions. Do not interact with anybody because 9 times out of 10, you'll get kicked out of the group because the admin will think you're selling something. Now, what's really funny is these admins pull these people into a group offering help, but if you go in and try and help, they say you're trying to sell something and it gets really, really messy. Now, 1 out of 10 times you can get away with it. There are some Facebook groups that you might be able to post content and they might not worry about it. But in my experience, I get kicked out of groups all the time, even if I just say like, oh, this is awesome. How have you thought about this strategy as well? Instant kicked out. Okay, so I'm here to tell you, do not post in groups because you'll lose massive opportunities to steal those people out of those groups. We are essentially going to go into those groups, pull them onto our friends list so they can see our content. Okay, so do not post in groups. So what we're going to do, we're going to, all the Facebook groups, look for symptom and keywords as you know how to do. We're going to find posts, announcements. We're also going to look at challenges. So if you notice in those Facebook groups, someone will post like a challenge, like 3-day challenge to overcome your anxiety. Well, anyone that says yes to that, I'm going to pull them onto my group as well. I'm going to pull them onto my page as well, because they've taken an interest in the free challenge. And we know free challenges are a waste of time for them anyway. We know they need real therapy. We're going to look for questions, etc. Anyone that comments. Okay. So you're going to add people who comment, like, interact with posts, questions, videos, or challenges, pull them onto our group. So what this is doing for us is telling us who needs our help as a byproduct. Okay, it's a very indirect way of saying, hey, I need help with my anxiety. I'm just going to like and share this group, this post, or I'm going to join this challenge. Can I need help? I'm going to pull them out of the group and onto my page. So we can do that in Facebook groups. I'm also going to teach you guys to add cookies. This is a Facebook advertising hack. So if you ever wonder why, every now and then you'll see a Facebook ad show up based on something you've researched on Google. This is how a Facebook ad finds audiences. It goes through the cookies. It looks at all your activity across all your social media on Google, and it shows you the ads. That's one cool thing about Facebook ads. That's the mechanism we have, but you've got to pay for that. So I'm going to show you how to do it for free. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Gurus and Experts websites on Google. We're going to click through all the pages on that website. We're going to keep the website open. We're going to interact with it. And then what's going to happen, it happens very quickly. You're going to start to notice social media ads showing you ads based on what you looked at on Google. Very, very cool. So we're going to look through the comments and add people who comment. So as an example, I did this exercise this morning. We have a car insurance company here in Australia. I don't know if it's worldwide. It's called Yui. So I did this to make sure that the cookies were still active. I went on to Yui, and again, I'll show you how to do this, guys. I went on to Yui, the website, spent about 15 minutes, clicked on all the pages, just pretended like I was reading it. Went back to Facebook. Within about 3 minutes, what did I see? A Facebook ad for Yui. And it had a bunch of comments like, can you send me prices? This is really cool. Have you got any other advice for this car insurance? Blah, blah, blah. Now, if I was selling car insurance, what would I do? I'd add all those people and pull them onto my page. Okay, I'm doing the same thing a Facebook ad does, but I'm not going to pay for it. So we're going to do this on the Tony Robbins thing. Any of the gurus that you guys follow, I'm limited in the gurus because I don't follow any of them, but you see my point. I can't allow Facebook to show up on Instagram. It'll show up on Facebook, it'll show up on LinkedIn, and I'm just going to start adding those people. So a very cool trick we're going to do. Okay, I'm also going to go directly to Facebook business pages, sorry. I'm going to look up the gurus. I'm going to steal their audiences, show you how to do this. So I'm going to go to Gurus and Expert Facebook business page. Now they will use a business page because they're running Facebook ads. I'm going to search the symptom and the keyword. I'm going to allow their content. You look at Anthony Robbins. If you type in anxiety, I'll show you how to do this. Type in anxiety into the search bar on his Facebook business page. It'll come up with content that he's created and hundreds of comments under all those pieces of content. And again, I'm going to look through the comments, add people who comment and interact because they're now interacting with how to overcome anxiety video, whatever it is. So again, hacking Facebook a bit. All right, so let's look at what we do on Instagram. So that's Facebook. Let's look at Instagram. We can steal audiences on Instagrams. So we're going to go to Instagram Gurus. We're going to look at Gurus Expert Instagram pages. We're going to search the symptom or the keyword from their posts. So I'm going to go through all their posts, look for an announcement that says to overcome anxiety, just do these 3 things. I'll look through all the comments and add people who comment. Because why would someone comment on an anxiety post if they didn't have it? See my thinking here, guys? Very, very simple. Okay, LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn's a touch bit different, as you guys will see. LinkedIn is more about your professional niche. You can't really find general public. We could, but it's more of a guess. But LinkedIn is about CEOs, business owners, because they have that in their title. So what we can do, go over to the search bar. We're going to look for a professional niche. Let's say I'm working with lawyers. I'm going to go to the search bar, type in the profession of lawyers, and I'm going to send a connection request to every single lawyer that I find in hopes that the majority might smoke, okay? Now, the difference with LinkedIn, it's sort of like a lucky dip. If I have 100 lawyers, only 40 of them might smoke, 60 won't, but it's 40 I'd never found before if I didn't follow this process. So it's a bit of a lucky dip because even though I work with lawyers, okay, doesn't mean every lawyer smoked. It might only be 50-50. 80-20. I don't know what the percentages would be, and it didn't matter. I just went to the places where my clients are. So that's LinkedIn. All right, so Instagram hashtags stealing audiences. Okay, so we're going to go to the search bar on Instagram as well. I'm going to type in the keyword, the hashtag, which is going to be the symptom or the keyword. I'm going to look through the comments and people who commented. Okay, so I'm going to do this every day. And again, I'll train your VA to do all this for you. Sounds like a lot of work, but it will literally take you minutes a day. Very simple. All right, so let's look at the real social media matrix, knowing that we're, as an aggregate, going to build this wall of defense. Let me show you the action items I'm going to take you guys through. All right, so let me break down the content system, and this, guys, is going to become your inputs. If you remember the map that we looked at in week 1, we had our inputs, which is the very first start of the action items we're going to be doing each day, and these will become essentially what I call CGAs. These are client getting activities. So if you also recall the 80-20 rule, this is where you're going to spend 80% of your time, guys. When it comes to it, 80% of your time needs to be marketing the business because that's where the growth happens. Okay, and we talked about that in week 1. So let me break this down. Also realize, guys, you're going to end up doing pretty much the same thing each day. Now, further on in the program, I'll introduce you to the asymmetry, which is the tracking, which means that we can essentially track what's working in your business as far as the content, and we can almost dismiss the things that are not working, but that comes later. Right at the start, we are going to throw some spaghetti at the wall. We're actually going to throw a lot of spaghetti at the wall because we need to see what sticks. And then later on, I'll show you how to track all this stuff. So it might seem right at the start, you are doing so much work. But remember all the way back in week 1 as well, hopefully you see how I'm tying these things together. We talked about the momentum, the compounding effect and momentum over time. This is really what it comes down to. With so much noise on the internet, guys, the only way to break free of this, aside from the creative content that we have and how we find content ideas, which nobody else is doing, consistency, remember the tap, is going to be our key. Consistency is going to be like our secret weapon. And again, it's one big reason why people fail. They just don't become consistent. Okay. So let me break this down. Let's start over here on the left-hand side here. So the very first set of action items I'm going to take you guys through, these will all become action items. I'm going to show you how to create all of this content here, is let's go back into the Facebook groups and let me show you exactly, aside from the niche research and finding symptoms, let me show you how I create content based off those ideas, those symptoms and those keywords. And like I said, constantly updating your keywords and the symptoms on your list, that's what's going to make you money. And again, in week 4, your VA will do that for you. But I want to show you how I can go into a group, find one question or one statement and turn that into basically like my next 10 pieces of content. Very, very simple. This is what I mean about having unlimited content. All right. So we'll do that first. We'll go into the groups, symptoms and keywords. This becomes content ideas and inspiration. So if you're ever wondering what type of Facebook Live should I do, what type of YouTube video, what should I say, you're doing it wrong. Take one step back and go to the groups first, or alternatively, look at your list. Look at your symptom keyword list, and that'll become the inspiration for your content. So let's look at the content itself. So I'm going to introduce you to something called a strategy call post, how to do a proper announcement, and also what is called a community question. Next, we'll look at things like live videos. So doing Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives. And again, this will all become with a schedule, guys. I'll give you an entire schedule of what I do each and every day. And it's going to seem like a lot, but that's the way it is. That's the way we have to start things. I'll also introduce you guys, how do we actually promote our testimonials? Where do we actually put them? How can we get the most out of those? And also your success videos. So if you've been on my YouTube channel and you've watched any of the testimonial videos where I actually sit down with a student and ask them questions, I'll show you how to do that, but I'll also show you, like we just mentioned before, how to build your audience. I'll talk you through those strategies, okay, of how do we do it on Facebook, Instagram, and we also add the cookies. Again, I've just given you the overview. I'll give you a step-by-step process in the upcoming videos to show you how to add an audience. So what you're essentially going to be doing each day, guys, you're going to be adding audiences, creating content, more audience, more content, more audience, more content. You're just going to be cycling through these 2 activities because the more content you create, we want to have more different audiences seeing those things, okay? So the cool thing about this as well is, we're using Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Now, if you see some of these logos are doubled up, so what does this mean? Well, Facebook, we know we can post something on our Facebook wall. We do that on our personal page. But Facebook also has the ability to share it in a story, which you guys have probably seen. So on Facebook, I can share it in 2 different places. Instagram is the same thing. I've got my normal Instagram page, but I also have the Instagram story. LinkedIn just has one, but also a lot of people don't understand is YouTube also has a community tab as well. So it's like you can create a post inside your YouTube channel where the people that are subscribed to your YouTube channel will see it as a post on YouTube, which is quite cool. Now, there are some regulations with that as well. There is a certain amount of subscribers you need to have on your YouTube channel. So if you're just starting out, you may not have this option, but in week 3, I'll show you how to grow your YouTube channel quite quickly, and then that'll become an option as well. So the reason I bring this up is like this, is let's say I'm creating a strategy call post, which I'll show you guys how to do. I share it on Facebook in 2 places, Instagram on 2 places, LinkedIn in 1 place, and also YouTube in 2 places. So every time I create a piece of content, regardless whether it's a video, it's a community post, it's an announcement, it's a strategy call post, it's a testimonial screenshot, which you guys have seen, I post it everywhere. So that's how I can take one piece of content and share it globally. I don't just create a piece of content and just share it on Facebook. Then I create another piece of content and just share that on Instagram. No, I share the same freaking thing everywhere. That's how I can get the most amount of mileage out of my content. I'll show you guys how to do the same thing. It's all about diversifying and repurposing one piece of content and sharing it in multiple places. In the contrast to what most people do is they create one piece of content, share it one place, then another piece of content, share it another place, another piece of content, share it another place. No, we're going to create one piece of content, share it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 places all at once. So let's say, for example, I have the goal to create 5 new pieces of content every single day. Okay. I'm going to share that here, 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 and here. So from 5 pieces of content, you can see how much mileage I'm getting. Okay. So it's like I'm sharing like 5 times 2 times 2 times 1 times 2. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of that piece of content. That's how we can almost show like you're everywhere at once. Okay. So from there, I'm also going to introduce you to one of the big catalysts here is how do we take this content? How do we start conversations with people? Remember all the way back at the start of this week, I talked about sending a screenshot to people that are asking questions in groups and starting a personal conversation with them. Well, this is what's known as organic outreach or direct outreach. Okay. So there's essentially 2 ways you can run your hypnosis or coaching business, guys. Number 1 is, well, there's actually 3. I'll give you the first one, which is the one we don't want to do, is to get certified and sit back and wait for people to find you. That doesn't work. So we don't do that. The second version is to create content, put it in some places, then wait for people to come and find you. Hear the theme there, wait for people to come and find you. What we're going to do is create multiple pieces of content everywhere with consistency every single day. And we are going to go looking for the right client. We are going to start the conversations. We are going to make the first move. Now, how do we know what clients to speak to? I already showed you an example of that. It's the exact way that we find the symptoms and keywords. So we're going to take screenshots, which I'll show you how to do, of their questions. We're going to personally message them. We're going to add them to our audience as well so they can see our content. And we're going to send them a message with their questions, say, hey, has someone answered this for you? And I'm going to show you guys how to start a conversation. So you're going to have multiple conversations per day. Like yesterday, I think I was juggling about 7 different conversations. From that, 5 have already booked calls in one day. And all I've done is exactly what I'm teaching you guys to do. And what's funny is I didn't even have a lot of time to create enough content yesterday because I'm busy re-recording this program and doing the updates, but it doesn't matter because I can repurpose old content that I created 2 weeks ago. So I have endless content. But the whole idea here is you're going to build your audience, create content, start conversations. So you're going to be juggling 3 things per day. From there, everything we do, guys, every goal here is all pointing towards a strategy call. We're not sending them to a free download. We're not sending them to a sales page. We're not sending them anywhere else. I want you to get them on the phone, guys, because it's the easiest conversion. That's why I give you the script, the future value deck, and also the proposal if needed. And your goal is just to cycle through this entire system every single day. This becomes your 80% of your day. It becomes your client getting activities. And this is where you're going to put your focus and your consistency. Remember the tap? We're going to put that tap full bore, put it on full blast. And this is what you're going to be doing each day. And like I said, in week 4, I'm going to show your virtual assistant how to do this part for you, how to collect the information. And all you'll need to do is just take the information they collect and just either make a video out of it or an announcement. So you'll still do the legwork here, but you can allow them to do the rest of this stuff, to send out the organic outreach messages, to start conversations with the people, to find the right audience. So they're going to take about 60 to 70% of the workload off your shoulders, and they're going to do it for you. And we're going to pay them about $5 an hour, which is stupidly cheap, but it's so powerful because imagine you pay a virtual assistant $5 an hour and they start booking you clients that are worth $1,500, who you've had a conversation with, have seen your content and are ready to buy. That's what I'm talking about. That's how we get massive ROI on the amount of work that we put in. But right at the start, I want you guys to learn how to do it so you can control all the systems, so you can further train your virtual assistant. You can get more out of the entire system, the inputs, process and output system, and everything in between. Control is really important here. All right, guys.